I like what Nux just taught me a new. Yeah, I have to Nux some more in my mind. You know, um, he made me really kind of think about that. That was a good way of putting it. Everybody's supposedly so anger mode on the left about the fountain, about the reflecting pool. I'm sorry, and improving the reflecting pool. There's the reason I'm saying fountain is because there is a fountain. There's a fountain in Washington D.C. in some plaza or park that has been out of service for so long that a reporter, and this was widely reported, that a local speaking to a reporter said, "I didn't know this was a fountain." Confessing something like living there like a rather long time, like I think it was over a decade. I don't want to swear by this. So the idea is then what Nuxnor made me think. So what's the option? What's the option you're given? No fountains in Washington D. No fountains in the Capitol. No. The reflecting pool has to look like shit. Why? Because fucking niggers live there, right? That's how they're keeping it real, right? Let's keep going along these lines. Oh, the Donald Trump is so angry about how he's militarizing the police. And the police, he's putting the military in the street. And because you see the natural state of the Negro is homicide, like Chicago. That's the natural state. See that you see one has to, you have to take what liberals are complaining about and then say, okay, so you mean the counterpoint would be this? What you want to see is apparently this, possibly. I mean, did you have a solution at all? And you see Anna Kasparian, you got to go to the root causes. A thing that liberals can never, ever get to outside of Karl Marx's call to steal from them all and kill the Jews. You see, Karl, I don't think went so far as the K word for the J's, but you see, he did equate capitalism with the practicality of Jewry, which the religion had become rather than something sublime and spiritual in his view. So he basically has a statement of, to eliminate the capitalist, one must eliminate Jewry. So I know some people like giggling about how base that is, but really it's because of his complete misunderstanding truly about the nature of early humanity, and that lots of, I mean, the Romans had coins. He's stupid. You know what the Greeks, the Greeks didn't no, they would philosophize at each other over goods. You know, come on, what are you, stupid? You know, now of course we know from better anthropology that actually we get almost the earliest things written down were tables of balance. Who owes me what? And who do I owe what? Swear to God. For receipts for trade. I mean, like, that's the craziest part, that, like, that was, because that it was that important. It wasn't like, make sure to write down this great epic. Like, a lot. No. Who owes me money? Which then somebody could actually say a lot about the nature then of Mesopotamia and early, like, the early cultures. You know, this would have been a great way of discussing, like, oh yeah, early humanity was just so savage. All they were worried about is money. See, now we have more sublime ideas, such as keeping our daughters chaste so they are extremely valuable to the proper suitor. And she could run a household that will, so that it be generational wealth in the family, and so that and that they don't have to burden other people with need. So you don't have to be so concerned about pursuing money, as long as you have this tremendous amount of human investment in time and labor and problem solving into the household. It's just one of those things that just kind of works itself out, it seems. That's what makes life so miraculous, I suppose. So I'm now, we get, okay, so say for example, how could you dare point out who commits what crimes and then count it per capita? Oh, well, what would you prefer? Just completely haphazard record keeping? Arbitrarily recording information? We now know that Fauci's a Mengele and all of these highfalutin shit libs loved. I mean, they fucking loved him. They were saying weird stuff. Queer for the guy, practically. And so now we've got, no, actually Fauci was actively his whole career a Mengele. I wouldn't even be surprised if he was a part of that whole thing with sterilizing Hindis. Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people just got to start getting this thing of like, well, so what do you want? You want somebody who's going to run such departments that say has always been the advocate for the supplements that you could find in any hippie nutrition store. Because one of the most fascinating things that I've actually learned over about the last decade is how women love hippie dip stores like that, or their mothers did, and now that they're like harridans on Twitter and shit, they like just kind of snapping at men about, oh, well, the FDA didn't test your supplements, so why are you afraid of the shot being given to children? And then there's that. Note, there's something for a lot of you guys who've watched this channel. You know how if too much time starts building up, it explodes, doesn't it? See, I mean, somebody had to address what was going on with the fucking Mohammedans. And now it's built up so much it's fucking exploded. Their own people could have done something about this a long time ago, but no. So now, the idea that, no, Islam just simply has to be kept as an ultra tiny minority, in especially the United States, is just an absolute. And for the protection of everybody, being that by credo, they have to forcibly do things about and to groups like Buddhists. Lots of different Native Americans, well, actually all Native Americans that don't conform to Islam. That anyone who doesn't conform to Islam is going to receive violence inevitably because it's a part of the credo. Now that this has become clear, it's just going to take time. And the more time it takes, the more the explosion. Well, when the tide turns, it's going to turn hard and fucking fast. And it's already starting. And I said this, I mean, what, one of you said, that video I made, that there is a girl, and she is like 12 years old right now, and she is going to be an adult, and she is going to fucking make you people pay for how you made her grow up in fear of these outlanders. You're going to pay when she's an adult. And now it's coming. And the EU is sitting there fucking peeing their thongs. Send them back, they're saying. And so you got these sackcloth wearing fucking hoochies with their fucking revolution fist in the air. And it's like, so this is what you want. You want women in fear. That's what makes the left operate. That's the only way they make money. Is if little girls are in fear of fucking Saladin. Now and forever. Showing up and fucking doing something to them and their friends at the pool. So it's just going to be beautiful in the long run. And it won't take much more time. See, as the boomers start really having to worry about whether they're going to be eating dog or cat food or kibble or wet, because the COVID, the whole COVID thing cost a fucking fortune, and it was all on the credit card, and all that fucking interest. That you can't. We're not going to get over that for a good long time. That national debt's going to be costing us a long time. So that, all of you and I know, that inflation, all it took, a little bit more. And then the inflation is out of control. And we all talked about it. And like we talked about how the population wasn't Malthusian ultra growth, and that everybody's numbers were shit, and all they had to do was look at market economics and how many shoes were being sold to children in these countries that were supposedly having oodles and googles of children. There's an entire personality type that has an entire set of parties that's all on one side of politics, and they can't fucking face when they're full of shit. And they're proven absolutely fucking wrong. And everybody knows we're counting on that. You all know we're counting on that pride. Because as it gets bigger, when that fucking tumor bursts, that's that. And the boomers are going to be going into the ground at the very moment that happens. And then I mean, shit, I'm going to be staying out of the way of a lot of you young guys. Whew. There's looks. I remember that kind of face from when I was younger. There's a certain toughness that's starting to show up in certain guys. They don't have tat faces. No, they're clean-cut Kens. And they're fucking not taking shit. It's that walk. Yeah, why don't you just give me a little elbow room, brother? I remember that from when I was younger. I ain't taking no shit. I remember those guys. And now they're back. And now they're back. And there's no women who can tame them. Why date these women who are going to betray them and betray the country and constantly vote on the side of politics that is a dirty fountain in a city known for its tremendous amount of homicide? Because they can't do anything about that. They can't solve that fucking problem. They can't do it. That entire end of politics, they can't solve any fucking problem. Even right now, all Newsom has to do is say he was wrong and he should really redirect all efforts to dealing with California's water issues. A thing long on the table to be done. Won't do it. It's a layup. It's a layup. Won't do it. Why? Because he would rather California constantly be this, have a water problem. It doesn't work another way. Oh, but you see, there's a train. There's a bullet train. I have a super fast train. No, yeah. Lots of guys like Gavin had trains, right? They like their trains in certain states, yes. And so, and that, the fact that that's a layup, that's a political layup for them, it benefits everyone. It actually even would make the value of land in general there, which is already retardo, it would go up. And he won't do it. And it's been a project on the books to be done for 40 years. And he won't do it. So there's no more of this argument about, oh, well, you see the Republicans, blah, 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 and this and that. It's like, no. So what's the counterposition? What are you going to show me? Make me see it. Sell me this vision. What am I seeing when I see this? The world that you're hoping for. And because what drove so many young men to vote this way, my way, toward nationalism, is what was, and within living memory. You tried to sell them something that they saw it, and they were like, I don't ever want to see this. I don't want to see a repeat. I don't want to see the merch. I want my money back. This even made the popcorn taste bad. Like, holy crap. And so, yeah, and send them back. The Outlanders will be sent back. The educational cartel is starting to fall apart. You guys are next. The teachers' unions have to be next. Very, very soon. It's got to happen. You got to hurt them. Because there's Fauci being a Mengele. Teachers' union is something. We're going to have a new word, and it's going to have something to do with the teachers' unions. Yeah. All right. Later.